Okay, here we are again then. How is it Wednesday?
I don't know.
I read something the other day that said the days of the week should be called like this day or that day or the other day, because the actual days of the week are ceasing to mean anything at all.
Yeah, I know, and I think even sort of Monday and Tuesday just seem to go like that, and I'm not really sure what I've done, but like frantic stuff, and then it comes to today and I'm like, okay, bit of structure, we can do this.
Absolutely. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I have to say that I've had a bit of a grumpy few days. I don't know if there are a few things, a few factors, but I think I've just had a grumpy, low few days. I've tried not to be a complete cow to everyone that I speak to. Poor Jack. But yeah, I think I've just found the last few days really hard and just quite low in myself, I think. Of course, like a massive contributing factor to that was that as I said, I think on the last weekly chat, my friend Kerry died, and it was her Thanksgiving service yesterday. Yeah. And I think that was a real moment, and it was sort of all streamed and through various things that we're all using now a lot. And I think it really hit at home. I think where it's been quite hard to process that with not the usual things like a funeral and all those sorts of things, I think it was a moment that hit at home. So it's been a strange few days for me.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, in some ways it felt a bit normal, and I don't know if I'm just getting institutionalized or whether or not I'm just finding a routine, but certainly Sunday, which, you know, we'd spend our time recording our different bits and then it all got put together. In the end, I said, well, I'm going to go to church now because I wanted to go in the garden and experience the whole of the service. And from that point on, I made a roast dinner later on, and I said, do you know, this almost feels like a normal Sunday. And I think so myself, I feel much more positive. I feel again, no idea what day of the week it is unless it's Wednesday or Sunday, but in many ways I feel like things are quite normal. But I have to say, I'm beginning to really hate IT. Just like so stressful trying to get things uploaded and time things appropriately. So that's kind of been like, it's wonderful, but it's also really stressful. So
and I think I have so much respect for people that do this as a job, because I kind of thought I could just put a video on Facebook. It's so much harder than that. So respect to anyone that works in IT.
Most definitely. I just think they all have little magic wands that we're not privy to, actually. Yeah. Only I could find that little magic wand. So we've been sort of thinking about where we think God might have been over recent days, and I read something on Twitter recently that Reverend Richard Coles wrote for me of the Communards, an amazing priest and a very funny man. Something like being aware of God, where God is in the gap. So the gap being the difference between what we know and what we don't yet know. And that there is a really amazing creative gap in the middle of those two things, where what we know and what we don't yet know. And my observation, I think, is that there's a bit of a tendency to try and close that gap. You know, what are things going to be like? How am I going to feel? What's church going to be like when we all go back? And even the question I've noticed a lot of the reporters are asking, with our Prime Minister being in hospital, and what's going to happen about making decisions? What if you have to make a big, you know, this tendency to want to close that. My observation that actually God is completely and utterly and fully present in the gap, and that we need to be bold enough to sit here, to be here, and to notice what's now.
Yeah, and I think I have a tendency, which I was reflecting on yesterday as I was doing some journaling, and relating to what you're saying, that I often try and rush to a solution or a conclusion. So I might have some negative feelings, as I said, I've been feeling the last few days, or I might be feeling a bit off, or, you know, there's something on my mind. And my natural tendency really is to very much rush to the conclusion and the solution. And I think what you said there is really helpful, and actually similar to what we were saying last week on our weekly chat, of just knowing that God is present with us in the moment, in the now, and not thinking about future or past.
Yeah, I think there is sometimes that lament of looking back of what could have been or what should have been. And you know, I took a funeral on Monday. The guy who died was only 38, and the pain of what should have been and what could have been. And it's so important to be able to just say, now this is how we feel, and this may well be a place where God can be so creative and so coming alongside us at those deepest points of needs, because being in the moment isn't always a happy place. It isn't always it's, you know, sometimes it is. Sometimes we can have that overwhelming sense of happiness and joy and peace, but it isn't always that. And having the courage to sit in that part is so important.
Yeah, and actually that's something that I feel like God's been speaking to me about, which is actually really just off of what you were saying. As I was saying, my friend Kerry, who has died, when she found out that she had cancer, she's a Christian, and she used the hashtag Choose Joy, and she wrote this amazing blog about how happiness is circumstantial. Happiness is like the nice thing that we get, but joy is this inner deep feeling that God gives us that sort of almost sits alongside grief and pain and sadness, but it's a state of being. And so every sort of social media post that she wrote, because she was so sort of brave in how she put that out there, she would always sign off hashtag Choose Joy. And that is something that for me has been really key, and exactly what you were saying of actually what I feel like God might be saying to me is that, yeah, circumstances aren't great. It's not bringing you happiness, the coronavirus, but how can we choose joy, which doesn't mean that we are happy and that we're okay. It actually sits alongside, it embraces grief, it embraces our sadness and our down days, but it's like it's a deeper sense of knowing where God is.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
And you know, like we often say, we can look back and see where God has been faithful.
Yeah.
We can look forward with hope, because we know that God fulfills his promises, but it's often in the gap, in the moment, where we might feel the most bereft. And choosing joy, what an amazing legacy to leave.
I know, and actually the guy that preached recorded his sermon for this Thanksgiving service based it around that, and it was really powerful, and I think that's something that's really stuck with me. So hashtag Choose Joy.
Choose joy. I wanted to just finish with a poem that the bishop has to all of her clergy, and I just want to share that to finish, which is around, you know, Easter weekend coming, and it's going to be so different. It's by Alan Amos, and it says, "Ah, my dear Lord, the church is locked, but let my heart be open to your presence. There let us make, you and I, your Easter garden. Plant it with flowers, and let the heavy stone be rolled away." It's just beautiful to carry us in the next stage of Holy Week. So, as always, our love and our blessing with you all, praying that you are in this moment, in this gap, in this space, that you will know that you are loved and you are precious, and we will make our Easter gardens. We really will, and we will let that heavy stone be rolled away.
Yeah.
God bless everyone. Good to see you.
See you later.
See you again soon.